All right, let me know if my screen is visible and then we'll continue. So here I go. So just share my screen. Kindly confirm it is visible. Yeah, thank you, Sonali, for the confirmation. All right, so very simple uh, process, or the steps to deploy the applications on cloud, right? I already informed, right, on day one or day two. When we started, I told you, right, we are going to deploy the Java application as well as we are going to deploy Python application, both, because we have a crowd, right, at Tech Amplifiers. We have a crowd who is learning both the programming, even a couple of people from front end development world, right? So if anybody watching online, so right, you let me know like what sort of application you want to deploy, and we'll help with the steps that are there. All right. So basically, what exactly is app service? So this is one of the another service that we are going to evaluate today. Of course, we are going to see the pricing of that and the app service pricing basically. So this is page is open for Linux, and then we are also going to see for Windows. Okay. So what exactly app service does? So app service helps you to deploy the app without worrying about the backend, without worrying about the infrastructure, like what RAM required, what hard disks, what space required, what processor required. You don't need to worry. Okay, so app service is a fully managed platform as service. So it provides you a platform, like you go and choose which for which language you want to deploy the application, and then proceed with the next steps, and it will help you to deploy automatically. Not automatically, of course, you need to fire some commands or you need to do some configurations, but it does basically. There is not a lot of headache to install the softwares and do a lot of stuff. So basically, if I put in single terms, so app service is a kind of virtual machines which has all the required software already installed in order to deploy any of the application, any of the software. Now basically, the what is use of this particular app service? So it is used for hosting web applications, if you have any, hosting REST API. So one of the example which I'm going to show you is the REST API example. I'm going to show you with the help of um, the Postman. I'm going to hit that application and we'll get the response. And the mobile backend. So mobile applications which people develop, right? So in mobile phone we can store data. So data will be stored somewhere on the cloud. And for such a applications, like where you want to store data on cloud, so from Azure basically, we can use app service from Azure stack. For other clouds, there are certain other names, and the storage space will be different. So here we are going to see step by step what exactly app service does, how you can make use of it, and what are the key features. So the key features of app service: it has multiple languages and framework. It supports Java ka Spring Boot, it supports Python ka Django, right? So these are two to name a few. There are many .NET framework and a lot many. I'm going to show you at the time of creating an app service. Okay, we'll see what sort of app you want to deploy, and then accordingly. So it is it helps us to manage the production environment, like really secure, configurable, and everything. So it also provides the support of containerization and Docker. So this containerization and Docker we are going to see sometimes later in this particular training program itself. So this is very interesting concept from a DevOps perspective, not from development, but at the end, once you have developed an application, you need to go and deploy it somewhere. So from DevOps perspective, this particular topic is very important. We are going to cover it later. Okay, so that is the next thing. It app service helps it for DevOps optimization. It also helps you to scale the application with high availability. It provides all sort of security and compliances required to pass the security tests. It provides you the authentication. See, I created an application in cloud, so currently I have not implemented authentication, but basically if I implement, or if I know Azure directory, that one we have learned last session. So if you know, if you have any user in Azure directory, active directory basically AD, so that user can log in, or we can provide the mechanism to authenticate using that user itself. We don't need to um, create separate authentication mechanism in order to use the application which is deployed on app service. So authentication can be managed since it is on the same platform. It has very good support of Visual Code, VS Code, and Visual Studio, the paid one, and VS Code is free one. So it has integration. I already showcased you a couple of times. Yeah, we can do that. This is very good integration. So Java tool integration is also there. We can easily develop and deploy Azure, deploy application to Azure using your favorite development tools such as Maven is where we get the build the package, and then using Eclipse or VS Code, either of them. Hmm? So yeah, of course. So the way we have support for VS Code, similarly we also have support for support in Eclipse. So Azure can be integrated in Eclipse, and then code can be deployed using CI/CD immediately onto this particular app service. Okay. So it is also used, it has support of APIs, support of mobile features, and we can write serverless code. Basically, you don't need to worry about the backend. You just push your code and it will eventually start running. Hmm? So now, before choosing the web app or before choosing the app service, let me just quickly go to their documentation, and then we'll compare the hosting options. Okay, what is your requirement of your application, and then which service you should use. So there are many services that they provide in the app service. Okay, so that is not only web app or so there are many. So I'm just quickly showing you the pricing first. So very good news is, for this particular app service, that they're providing 10 apps free. Hmm? 10 web app, mobile app API are free, first 10. But when they are providing you the 10 application, the space is limited, only 1 GB you can store. So if your two applications are exceeding 1 GB, then you cannot store the third application or cannot deploy the third application. Rest, I don't care. Like, I don't want anything else. I just want to, have my app up and running, and then I should be able to access it with the URL. That's what my goal right now. Hmm? So that is what my goal. Let me just quickly see if I could do like uh, Spring 1 or so. I created. nahi, ठीक है, I will see. I have one of the application I deployed yesterday night, so I'll show you the demonstration of that. We'll also see if we could deploy, or I'll help you to explain the steps. ठीक है, पे एज यू गो फ्री है तो यूज करेंगे जो VM that they have provided for the free tier is shared VM, so that's absolutely fine for now. So free plan gives you 60 CPU minutes per day. I don't know what does exactly it means, but it is very limited access basically. Hmm? RAM is 1 GB and then storage is 1 GB. Of course, that is what I have mentioned कि 1 GB से ज़्यादा अगर आपका storage है, then you cannot store the next day. So B1 is something basic service plan we are going to choose, and then accordingly it will charge me basically if you are planning to take their app. So this is for content, I guess, designed to, but 1 rupees per hour, basically 1.5, 1.5 rupees per hour. That is very negligible cost that you can pay. If you want to 10 GB of storage, but as of now I don't want 10 GB of storage. I'm happy with 1 GB of storage. Okay, so I do not need to pay anything. So this is very simple and most effective service I feel, and then आपका application में deploy हो सकता है, बहुत सारी अच्छी चीजें, right? So go and check the other pricing plans as well. You can change the pricing plan per month वाला भी check कर सकते हो. And of course, you know the formula now, right? You go and change the region, you go and change the plans, and then cost will increase. Simple. So pay as you go, it is zero cost. Sorry, in free tier it is zero cost if you use the application till 1 GB. Suppose by default, if you exceed the limit, it automatically switch to the next plan. So make sure that whenever you're trying and testing application, you already get to know like what is size of your application. Okay. So let me just quickly show you. I created an application just to demonstrate. Azure Spring app. So this is the simple example I have taken. So this is a project that I'm gonna help you to. So in this target, I created a CRUD POC basically. So I know the size of the application. It is 18 MB. So now whenever this application will be deployed on cloud, so it is, of course, it is going to have 18 MB wala size. Now since the size is 18 MB, I can push remaining, I don't know, 950, 980 MBs basically. So I have the space. So while uploading, make sure that you are checking the size and then uploading or deploying the application on the cloud. Basically, see, when it is Java application, or any, whether it is Spring Boot or any sort of Java applications, so at the end it is going to compile into jar. Okay, jar, or it can be compiled into war extension. So either of that, both are fine. So we just need to fire some commands in Maven. So of course it supports the Maven wala uh, tool. So basically with that we can, with the help of some commands, we can push it. I'll show you. So for that we need to add some dependencies as well. So those who understand Java, those who are from Java background, they can understand what I'm talking about, the dependencies and Maven and all. We'll see how to do that. So I have mentioned, noted the every step in detail, and that's it. You just need to follow it in order to deploy. But before that, let's first focus on understanding. So that's not only deploying is not the use of app service. Okay, so this is the pricing I have shown you. So there are more details that I need to tell you about the app service. So app service is basically quick build deploy. Hmm? Quickly build, quickly deploy, and scale the web apps. So basically, most probably or mostly used for web applications, and then it can be also used for API hosting. It can be also used for Android application, as I mentioned earlier. Okay. So there are a lot of people actually who are using this. So you can find it on internet. Who what are the top people who are top application who are using Azure ka app service. Okay, it has fully managed service. It has built-in CI/CD. So those who understand continuous integration deployment, so this comes into developer and DevOps वाला part. So supports virtual network, ability to run किधर भी run कर सकते हैं. It has really nice security. ठीक है. So now, so deployment center होता है इसका, and then web app के अंदर you can go and deploy the application whatever you want. We are going to create a web app, of course, and then I'll show you the demonstration going forward. ठीक है. Now just try to understand. Huh? So this is a very intellectual way they have provided, like how does it exactly it is work. तो यहाँ पे हम लोग देखते हैं scale web apps and enterprise grade services. How I can scale is something that they have told showcase over here, right? So see, wherever I'm going to hit through internet, I'm going to hit app service wala link, whatever I'll generate later. That link will be hit, but whoever is the person who is trying to log in or access can be the user of Active Directory or can come from the Azure DNS. So whenever it comes to app service basically runs in a app service plan. So this plan we are going to create. We are going to create a resource group separately in order to use this particular service. And of course, we are going to store the data. So some storage blob will be assigned to this particular thing, app service. So whatever code we are going to execute, that code will be copied basically on the storage blob. So app service doesn't have anything, so it just configures a VM and then um, creates an environment, so which we cannot see actually, which can be handled with the command prompt only. Hmm? So there is no like virtual machine can be opened and viewed, right? So I have shown you the demonstration, but in app service we cannot do that. So to that app service we can also connect the databases. The current example that I'm going to show you, so there is no database involved as of now because I have not taught you database. As soon as we learn, I'll show you the demonstration with database connectivity as well. We need to do some configuration for that, but that is a simple thing. So we can connect the databases to my application, and then you need to do some configuration in your code. So that's it. So it is a really nice service. Has a lot of support for web app. Basically, when whatever screen you open, go and see the web app. Now, yesterday itself, I downloaded Azure Ka Android application after informing you like Azure Android application is available. So now, what is the use of it? To have it handy with you whenever you go, right? I cannot take my laptop everywhere I go, but I can take my mobile phone every now and then. So I can keep a track on billing. Number one, I can keep track on my current health of my services which are up and running. So for that, it is very important to have Azure Android application. So if you are using it for personal use, I would recommend you to have it installed so that you can track. Basically, having Azure in your pocket is a really good thing. Basically, okay. So go and download it and log in into the Azure Android application. It is a really handy tool. Basically, I personally liked it, hence I'm recommending. Till yesterday, I was not aware, or even I was not using it because there was no need. I am actually, whenever I want to work, I open the laptop and I work. Fine. There are flexible pricing for first 10 apps. It is free, so you don't need to worry. So companies, trusted by all the companies. Fujitsu using. So that is what I was trying to showcase you, or I was talking. Henken is using only this much. They have not put a lot of company name, but there are a lot of applications who are using this particular service. So you can deploy with Python. You can deploy with Java. So I'm gonna show you or deploy containerized web app as well. Whatever you want to do, web app in web service. There are multiple things you can quick start, or you can use learning models if you wanted to have additional data. But as of now, since we are here, you don't need to worry about it. So what you have to do is you have to search for app services. So here I go. I'm going in app service, or you can search from here as well. App service. App services, basically it is app service which is going to help you to do this thing. So this is app service. Basically I'm here, I'm going to create an app service. So okay, whenever I'm going to hit create, so there are options. Hmm? In app service, as I mentioned, is not only web app, it can be static web app, like normal website where you don't need to uh, what you can do, um, you don't need to worry about like databases. You don't need to so it's like a static website like we are having uh, techamplifiers.com, a static website, nothing more, nothing less. Hmm? Simple navigation kind of stuff, that is static. But if you want to build dynamic web app, then you have to choose this one. If you want to have web app plus database, you have to choose this one. If you want to build your WordPress on app service, you can also do that. Of course, till 1 GB you can do that, but after that, it is like app services helping you with the hosting services. Like you can host your application. तो देखो they have given 10 apps free, तो मैंने already कल एक बना दिया Azure Spring One. So I was just trying to show you like what exactly it is having. So I can create a web app for me. I'm going to show you this time since you don't have anything. So click on web app. So it is going to create a web app for you. Of course, similar sort of settings. Anything you do, you create Azure directory, you create storage space, you create virtual machines, you create web app in Azure, right? So you have to follow this particular basics, deployment, networking, monitoring, tags, and recreate this particular sequence. It will be always there. So RG, it is asking me to choose RG. So I have created yesterday a new RG, web app RG. You can just click on new and create, no problem at all. Or you can choose existing default RG. Okay, default resource group of EUS. I don't know. See, I have created a web app wala RG. There will be two apps in this RG. There will be. So I need to provide a name. So name must be unique. Hmm? So at the end, because it is going to public URL, Azure websites.net, it will be the name. Azure Spring App नाम था ना उसका. एक मिनट, I'll just show you a demonstration. Azure Spring App. So this is what my app I deployed, I tried and tested. So currently it is a Spring app. So REST API डालने के बाद ही आएगा. So hosted, hence it is showing white label error. This is shown from the embedded Tomcat. So I'm just quickly showing like app store slash itna. So hello from Akshay, it is showing. So after this, if I put students, so this is basically a very basic API that I create, so which does CRUD operations. Basically, I can post the data into this. um, I can post the data using Postman. I'm going to show you the demonstration once we create it. So first, let me show you how to create a web app, and then that is what I was talking about. You need to provide a unique name. So Azure Spring was already taken by somebody, so I put a number 1, and then that is how it worked. Okay, I'm going and creating something else like learning, name is not available. Learning Azure. It is also not available. 1. It is available. So now, so there is option. So this is just a name that I need to keep unique. Secondly, if you want to publish a data, you can use multiple things. If you want to publish a data like your direct code, if you want to put the deployment in Docker container, which you don't know at all right now, so we'll not go in that particular way. If you want to deploy static app, the options will be different. Like, oh yeah, this is going to show you like go ahead and create your static app. But since I want to deploy code, so it is going to show you some more options. Okay, basically it is going to show me some more options. So here I go. I'm just going to select code because I want to do it for Java and Python both. For as of now, we are going to do Java. Later we do Python. Of course, I want to show you demonstration with virtual machines as well. How I can deploy project. So this is serverless deployment, basically what we are doing today. But with virtual machines, it will be fully managed. Okay. So I'll show you the comparison few minutes after few minutes, that how you can choose which service to use. So that is a compare the Azure hosting options for deploying your web app. There is a flow chart which will show you. If you require full control, then choose virtual machine. If you don't require full control, if no, then go ahead and check next option. Okay. So that is what I was talking about. So this is remote. This is the app service is not fully managed. They just deploy the code and forget about it. That is what the structure of the app service. Okay. So here I need to choose the runtime stack. So if it is code, which code you are trying to upload. If it is .NET code, you need to choose a framework. If it is Go, you need to choose. If it is Java, which Java version you are using. I'm using 17, so I'll be using Java 17. Then Node 16 or Node 18. Then PHP. We have Python as well, 3.11, 3.8, and these are the backend technologies that are available, which can be deployed over here. Okay, so it is not for deploying the front end technology because that can be hosted anywhere. Or you can club the both together, front end and back end, and build a jar, and then you can deploy it over here. That would also work. So as of now, Java 17 is something required because हमने discuss किया था. We are going to use Java SE embedded web server along with it. So there will be multiple servers which you want to use, but we are going to use Spring. So embedded web server is there. So now, so before moving forward, let me just tell you one more thing. अगर if you are deploying Spring Web app, then see, if you are using Spring Web apps, Spring Boot apps, if your application is built on Spring Boot, which is a framework, like in Python we have Django framework, Java we have Spring Boot framework. If you have a Spring Boot app, so there is another service called as Azure Spring Apps. Okay, then there is no use of this particular Azure app service, which is sometimes later. But basically Spring Boot is also Java, so I can, instead of using Azure Spring, I can deploy it directly over here by doing some configuration. Now why I'm doing it with Azure apps only, why I'm not using Azure Spring apps, because Azure Spring apps is bit costly. And currently with this free tier account I cannot use it. It of course it has more features, it has really nice support for Spring application, but as of now, since we're learning, my goal is to help you to understand Azure app service, not Azure Spring app. Neither of the administrator related applications will have to help you understand the concept of Azure app service in depth. That is what we are working on right now. Okay, so chalo. So we can choose both the VMs. Like here, since I'm not going to anyways look at how exactly the VM will look like, I'll not be able to log in. So I'll choose Linux because Linux costs you less basically. You can also choose Windows, but anyways you are not going to see what is happening in the background, so there is no sense choosing Windows with extra cost. So whenever you are going to choose Windows, so it is going to show you free F1. Okay, it has a free so you can go and work on that. But I recommend you to choose Linux as of now, because last वाला एक example हमने Windows में किया है. I'm choosing Linux over here. So and it has more. See, with that, ठीक है, Linux वाला plan कम कॉस्ट में बहुत अच्छा मिलता है basically. That is the reason, and you can choose a region, US East, किधर भी choose करो. I'm keeping the settings default as of now. I don't need to. I can make it India basically, India central India or so. You go ahead and do that. So I'm keeping the settings as it is now, not modifying anything more than what is coming automatically. Then it is asking for the plan. So there are multiple plans available. So this ASP web app RGB1, so this plan has automatically created. In your case it will show you new, automatically there will be a new plan. Premium version it is selecting, so let it be, it will not cost you more. Zone redundancy not is by default disabled since we are using free tier. free tier wala subscription I have used, so इसके लिए zone redundancy they are not providing. Okay, now you must be knowing the concept of zone redundancy, right? So it will be the copy of the data will be there in multiple zones. So if one zone data center from one zone is failed, the data from other zone will be available to access. Okay, next the deployment. So here you can choose whether you want to do the deployment, or if you want to implement CI/CD, continuous integration, you can connect the GitHub so that I can clean the code and the structure everything. But I don't want to do so. I'm going to push the code using AWS CLI. So I hope you have this AWS CLI installed. So AZ hyphen version, if it works then it's good. So if you have Azure CLI installed, then only we can able to deploy or do the next step. Like creating a app is easy, app service is easy, but deploying it is a bit complicated. So for that you need to put some configuration in it, console side. So here we need to do something. I have Azure CLI installed 2.5.3, that is fine. I'm disabling the continuous integration of the part. I do not want to do it manually. Whenever I need, I'll fire some command on my computer. If I'm going in local networking access, I'm allowing it to enable public access because the URL which I shown you, right, it is publicly accessible. If you put it in your case, you can you also can able to access because it is hosted on internet and anybody can use it. Since it's API and since it's testing all API, it doesn't matter for me. ठीक है, enable public access, yes, I'm making it on. Network injection अभी नहीं चाहिए, ठीक है. So I'm just going in monitoring. Insights, application insight automatically कर देता है. If there are any failures, so it will tell you like how many people are visiting, how many times it has failed, how many times it's up, and a lot of things that it will be it will help us to do. So insights का कुछ फायदा है, but we'll see it sometimes later at the end of the training. What exactly insights, how it is going to help you. Okay, right now I'm making it no, I don't want to create any insights as of now because I already have or I'll be choosing existing one, so I don't want to. But फिर प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा, मुझे पता नहीं चलेगा कि which for which machine it is showing or which web app it is showing. I'll create a new one anyways. So in your case it is must be showing same option, new region East US. Going to next, it is a tag. I'm not putting any tag as of now. Review and create. So I'm just reviewing the data. क्या किया, learning Azure, web app RG, code करेंगे, deploy 17 Java का version, then service plan this one, Linux का OS, premium small size का है, 2 जो भी है 3.5 GB का RAM, and east region, and that's it. Okay, I'm clicking on create. It has initializes the deployment of my web app. This is my second app I'm creating. So for you will be having the similar sort of process. You look at the screen and it will take some time to get the application deployed. So click at least 5 minutes it will need. So meanwhile, so I'm refreshing. So it has created some insights. The one last option that I chose, insights related settings that it has initialized. Then after that, if you refresh, it will show you. It will take some time basically. uh, Deployment successful. Okay, go to the resource option is coming. So it has done it really fast this time. Okay, so you can see the deployment details. I'm just quickly refreshing. Okay. So basically the learning Azure 1 web.sites has been deployed. Okay, basically insights के बाद web app has been deployed. So my deployment details is done. Next step, like go to the resource. Like you can go and see redeploy भी कर सकते हो, you can delete the deployment. I'm going to the resource. So resource means basically this is the resource which is open. So anything we use from cloud is called as resource, whether it is VM, whether it is storage space, everything called as resource, and that maintaining that resource is called as, or the group of that resource is called RG, resource group. Okay, I'm just going to home again just for 1 sec. I'm going in app services, which is the what service. So now here I can see 2 apps I created. One is I created yesterday. So I guess you can see the time. Can you? No. So here are some options that you can use: start, restart, delete, वगैरह वगैरह. So if I don't want anybody to access, I'll stop it from here, right? So like you know the URL, I'm gonna stop it after some time. So basically, so that is nobody can access. I can delete as well, my wish. Then here I go. Same options, edit कर सकते हैं, बहुत सारी चीजें, right? So learning Azure 1 is something which I created right now. So I'm just going inside that, and I'm gonna show you some important things over here. Okay, so basic details, essentials, like this is going to be your plan, this is going to be your domain. See, default domain. So this is the domain through which I'm going to access my web app. So if I click over here, it is going to show you your app is hello Java developers. This is a default app. See, I have not deployed anything by the way right now. I have not deployed anything. I just created web app. That's it. So web app is accessible, and by default it is showing you some code which is coming. I don't know if from the backend. So it is Microsoft has provided some basic code at the time of creating. So Java version 17, Java home का version दिया है. This is Java application I'm going to deploy. So once I deploy my application will look the way I want it to. Whatever I wanted to, it will show you over here. Okay, my app is up. This is the URL I'm getting. So status is running, location US, subscription free trial, subscription ID I don't want. Health check. not configured, I can do it later. Linux operating system. So here in properties I have the details, more details. Basically this is the domain which I already showcased you over here. So hosting plan, more details. Basically insights भी आप यहाँ से देख सकते हो. You can go an application inside and you'll see the inside. Now it's time to deploy the application over here. How I can do that? Again monitoring में वही same to same चीज है. Anybody coming in, anybody going out, making the request. एक request किया था शायद, तो इसलिए यहाँ पे आया 12 KB का डेटा गया. Logs it will show you, like we are not able to see the logs, but once we deploy the things we'll be able to see that app. Capabilities, it has a deployment center, not configured. Basically deployment slots है यहाँ पे, that is not configured, or insights is configured. Now if I go to my previous app service, Azure Spring app, and here if I go and show you the capabilities, right? So what exactly this particular thing can do. So also here itself we have not configured anything from the UI, but you can also go and set up the deployment method for your application by going in a deployment center. So this is what it was showcasing on the notes, or that page I was trying to showcase you. So this is what they were referring to, deployment center, web app and deployment center. So I'm on the same page, deployment center. I can choose a source key from where I want to put the data over here. Whether I want to get the data from GitHub, if I select, I need to put the links. Bitbucket. So these are some CI/CD tools, continuous integration के लिए people maintain their code base into this particular tools, depending on the company what exactly they're using. If company is having their own version control system, okay, SVN you might be knowing. So then this is code integration tools basically. So if they have theirs, they can put the URL. If I choose GitHub, I need to put the GitHub wala link, and I need to authorize and do a lot of things. I don't know. I'm not gonna do that. If I have separate repository, I can put the URL and I can provide the access and all. And that is how you can bring your code over here in web app. If not, like अपन को CI/CD से नहीं करना है. Basically, I don't have any code integration or tool. You can also do file transfer, FTPS, file transfer protocol, secure. So endpoint that they have given, so you must be having this tool called as क्या tool का नाम है, एक second, FileZilla. FileZilla kind of client will help you to push data or files directly on this particular platform, but that is again a very vague way of doing it. You are not sure what exactly it is going to get, and so that is when, so username and password that they have already given, connect to the VM. It will help you to access like a folder like structure, and you can copy the data. That is fine. So this is very simple way of doing it. You can also see the logs, what all who has access, what has done with this. So that can be done, but that is when you go and do it with a team basically. So ye wala settings basically, external git and all other things with team. So if you have very simple application like only HTML file I want to copy, I can do it with this. But now since I'm going to show you a deployment of Java code, I need to perform some different steps. I'm not going to do the way the options they have given. I'm going to do it with the help of CLI, because now see, that is when we install on day one. So this is what you are supposed to do. So here you fire a command. So I would like you guys to note down a command. So if you are doing for the first time, so it will ask first you need to connect your Azure to your account. Az connect is a command. If I do so, it will open a Chrome and it will ask you for the authentication. So az connect is a command which will help you to connect with your it will help the Azure CLI to connect with your Azure account basically. So it should open a command prompt if for the first time, but I'm doing it for second time, so I'm not sure. So wait for a second and let's see what it does. Connect should open a no Chrome for the authentication. If it is not opening, that it missed, connect is missed, connection, even connection nahi. So kuch to miss ho gaya, wait over account. So we'll see the command how to connect to the VM. So that is done. So overview I'm just going to give you. If you have something like user you want to provide for the app service, then you can create a user who can go and access your app service. You can create backups, domains, custom domains. If you want to put your own domain, I can add my domain and I can put it like mydomain.com or something like this. Okay, so there are a lot of things that you can do over here. Health वगैरह check कर सकते हैं. ठीक है. I'm just quickly going back to my notes from where it has started. So I'm going to show you the overview of this particular thing. See, I want to build new application. If I'm building new application, if yes, I'm gonna, and if I want to have full control, use virtual machine. If no, I'm not building a new application, I already have an application and I want to migrate. क्या करना है? I just want to migrate my existing application on cloud. Or if it is already cloud optimized, if yes, then the flow will come over here. If it's not cloud optimized, you can lift it and you can shift it on cloud, copy and paste, that's it. Left and shift is that approach. If yes, it can, then next question is, if it is containerized, can be containerized, container में डाल सकते हो उसको. uh, uh, then if yes, then you can come to again over this flow and then you can check. If no, then I'm not sure about this one, but basically not sure about this one, COTS will have. But if it works, then you can again go and choose virtual machine. Existing app के लिए वो देख रहे हैं हम लोग. If it is not, then you can choose app service. Or okay, वही fully require access. Do you need full access of this application? If yes, go to this. If no, then go to app service or Azure app, depending on your choice. If you are building new and then you are not don't need full control, then if you have high performance computing, use Azure Patch. If no, if you Spring app, use Spring apps. If you don't have Spring, you can, if you have something event driven like a function, uh, after this event you have to do that, after that event you have to do that, like sequence wala task, then you can use Azure functions. We're going to put some focus on Azure functions later. If you don't want to do that, if you want to have managed web hosting platform and features, then you can use this one. That is something we're learning. If no, if you need fully fledged orchestration, is a very different concept. We'll see at the time of containerization now. Then we have Azure container instance. अगर नहीं चाहिए तो, अगर if you need orchestration, then you can also check, you need to have managed services. अगर managed service चाहिए तो again you can come to Azure Fabric or Azure Red Hat Shift or Azure Kubernetes. These are the options, but for that you need, if you use all .NET framework, then Azure Fabric. If no, if you use Red Hat earlier, then you can choose this. If no .NET, no Red Hat, final option is AKS, Azure Kubernetes. If you need the access of the APIs, of course, any application I deploy, I need the access of API. Here are a few other things. So notes are shared already. You can go through this. So let's start deploying the Spring app on Azure. So there are certain steps that I did. So first step is login into Azure CLI, so which is one-time activity. अगर authentication नहीं होगा तो it won't have. Connect to Azure or login. Azure login, easy login with CLI. I forgot the command basically. That is when I'm searching. Okay, AZ login is a command, not connect. AZ space login. So this is the command. It will ask me to put the credentials. So now AZ login. A web browser has been opened. देखो इन्होंने web browser open किया है. देखो this is web browser opening up. So I need to put my credentials of account. So I already logged in with my free tier account. So I'll authenticate with that only, and then authentication will go back. Yeah, you have logged into Microsoft Azure CLI, and then फिर आप यहाँ पे जाके देख सकते हो. पुराना account clear करने तो AZ account clear, and then you can log in again. So here I can see I have successfully logged in with my credentials called as, this is the email. Now I can go and perform the next steps. First, you need to establish a connection so that this CLI. So see, next time I'm going to fire the commands, I'm going to fire from this particular command prompt. Now, in order to send data on cloud, copy karna hai, whatever I want to do with whatever service, for that it will not ask me the credentials again. It will automatically know, okay, iska hai kya? Then which RG you want to do, then this is RG. Okay, then for what exactly next thing you want to do, then accordingly it will showcase you the next detail. Okay, what I was talking about is RG. किधर है? Web app overview में वापस जा रहा. हाँ. So this is my app Azure Spring One. So what I want, okay, RG resource group, I want to put in my code. Name of the application, that is Spring One, I need to put in the what I need to put in the code. And then if I do everything right, and then only I'll be able to push my code. Okay, hosting का name नहीं लगेगा, but we'll need few more things. Okay, so these details I need to put it in my code. So if you want to first thing first, only login will not enough. You need to have your own code up and running. आपका खुद का कोड आपके पास होना चाहिए जो कि running है, and then only you can push it there. So in order to get your own code on, if you're from Java background, you must be having the knowledge of Spring Boot expecting. If not, you can find a tutorial I shared over here. So simple copied from Azure itself. ठीक है, उनके documentation से copy किया है. So somewhere I'm not sure from which link, but I copied these particular things. So what you can do is you can open a terminal, create a Spring Boot वाला folder जहाँ पे आपको काम करना है. मैंने उसको कुछ अलग नाम दिया है. Then go to that folder and then git clone. I'm copying a project from GitHub. That's it. I got my Spring Boot wala project. Then I am going to this complete wala folder, which is what I was showing you. So this is a complete wala folder. Inside that, this is my code of Spring Boot. Okay. So here, once I go there, I'm going to fire this command m1w clean package. So it will build my java.jar into this particular folder. Once that is built, I'm going to put Spring Boot.run. So it will run the application on my local system. Currently, if I do https localhost 8080, so it won't show me anything. It will show you site can't be reached. But now, so let me just, since I'm connected with my system, so I can close the window. My CLI knows now that I'm the hosted user वाला person. I'm the owner of the Azure account. ठीक है, CLI में. ठीक है, मैं यहाँ पे command prompt open कर रहा हूँ इस particular location पे complete में. So that is what CD I was referring to. So here, if I fire the command from my notes, किधर notes? So if I fire the command clean package, ये इसका दिया भी है मैंने यहाँ पे. So you create the app, then once you have, you clean and make a package of it, which is what Java jar will be created. And I already have it, so I'm running it. I'm just showing you by running the code. So I'm running this particular command, which is maven spring boot :run. So which is what I configured in my POM. मैं आपको एक बार I'll show you the configuration. The POM is the pom.xml is the file where I do the configuration in Java. I'm running the Spring Boot application. It is scanning for the project, and once it is done, it will show you the application. Running the Spring Boot Maven plugin 3.0. It will take some time, and then it will get executed. And then once the server is running, so this is embedded Tomcat. It will run, and then I'll be able to access my application over here in my local environment as well. Currently, it is not showing me anything. So और इसके लिए नहीं आ रहा तो यहाँ पे शायद store किया था हमने. So this is also empty. So it should return hello from Akshay, right? So that is what I did. So let's see if we could do that, or if we could see that. Hold on for a second. So app is getting deployed here in the command prompt. Yeah, started the application. Yes, 11 seconds में start हो गया. So I'm just refreshing. Yeah. So in my local, I can see hello from Akshay is written over here. So this is how I have deployed my application on local environment. So once deployed on local, that is not enough. So यही application once it is confirmed कि local में चल रहा है. देखो यहाँ पे मैं I can do students. So ये empty है, यहाँ पे data है नहीं. So I can test it from my Postman. So those who know what exactly is REST API and have gone through the Postman tool, so that's good. If not, I would recommend you to understand what is REST API, number one. Number two, I would recommend you to understand how to use Postman application. So for testing the web REST APIs. Okay, just give me a second. Since meanwhile it is opening up, so we'll go and implement the REST APIs, or we'll try to create some users, customers, जो भी है हमारे पास. ठीक है, hold on for a second. Yes, it has opened. So we'll take some time, I guess. So anyways, I'll show you the pom.xml till then. So there is one configuration file. So that is in Python project, or if you are working in Django, the file is settings.py. So here that is pom.xml. So similar things actually. As per my experience, there can be differences, but as per my experience, the same. Okay. So here I gave a name like CRUD POC 1.1. So that is what the name of deployed app you can see. Either target me here CRUD POC 1.1 jar. Okay. So this is POM. So how I did the setting, I chose the Java 17 version, Spring का startup web use किया, test use किया. So there are two. In order to build the project, I have two plugins. One plugin is for building it locally, that is Spring Boot Maven wala plugin. Second plugin I have used to deploy the application on cloud. So this plugin is kind of help us to deploy the application on cloud. So the version is 2.5. So here I did some configuration related to my application. Okay. So what I did, so resource group name web app rg, app name Azure Spring 1. So Azure Spring 1 पे ये कल deploy किया था. Region is East 1, price in tier is P1 V2. So on this particular app, it has deployed yesterday. So now same project, and so which directory it will deploy, the project का base directory के अंदर जाके target folder में जो भी वो jar आपको मिलेगा, it is telling you to deploy any jar. Include all the jars. Star is like all the .jar files include over there. So all the jars are getting deployed over there, copied over there first and then deployed. So now, so ये Azure Spring 1 का app था, so that was deployed on Azure. So if I go and see, इधर मेरा, हाँ, so this one is mine ना, अभी learning Azure. तो यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं है. Currently there is nothing over here. So if I want to deploy it, deploy my app over here, so I need to change the configuration from my pom.xml. So instead of this particular app, I'm going to rename it to my new app which I want to deploy. So local में चल रहा है, मैंने टेस्ट नहीं किया ना अभी तक, रुको, postman. So spring boot training में था शायद यहाँ पे, I have not tested that. ठीक है, get student ये API की जगह मैंने स्टोर किया है. So I'm going to just change it quickly. So student, so that is what empty array I was seeing. I'm trying to add a student. So let me take the name of student का name. So here I'm adding to one करते हैं अक्षय के लिए. So one Akshay I'm adding. So a student has been added to my local app which is running. So if I go in my Chrome and ये local environment पे पहले जो empty आ रहा था, I'm refreshing, so I can see first is this. Now I'll add one more student, like I'll add Trupti, the student in the meeting. So second person has been added. So it is returning me true, decided by me how to write the code. I have modified that REST APIs according to my wish. So यहाँ पे I can see two people, but it is in local, not in my cloud. So यहाँ पे नहीं है, and then neither on my first app which I deploy. ठीक है, आपके केस में ये first app नहीं होगा तो मैं निकाल ही देता हूँ यहाँ से, so that you will not get confused. So this is the only app which is having nothing. Now what is next step? So I need to change the Azure Spring नहीं करना है, मेरे को app service चाहिए, and then I'll take the name from here, learning Azure, L छोटा A capital. I'm copying this name, I'm going to my pom.xml, I'm just Ctrl C, that's it, खत्म. Rest configuration same, Java 17 चाहिए, ऐसे ही चाहिए, उधर से उठाएगा, सब कुछ से. So my app is up and running. So let me just quickly rebuild the package. So this is app is running. So I don't want the app, I want to rebuild because I modified the settings यहाँ के. So this name I changed, right? So I need to build it again. So how to build the application is using the previous command like mun clean package. So it will create a new package. देखो, I'll show you the package का date and time as well. देखो, this package has been created 18 October 1:33 AM yesterday night, है ना. I was taking a lot of efforts to show you the demonstration. ठीक, yesterday night it has built. So now today we will build it again using this command called as maven clean package. I'm hitting the command, so it will go and compile the application, create a package of it, and then the newly updated package will be over there in that folder. And then the next step is to push it on cloud. Wait for a second. रीपैकेज कर रहा है, देखो पैकेज खत्म हो गया, अभी जस्ट क्रिएट हुआ है. सो आई एम जस्ट गोइंग इन माय टारगेट फोल्डर एंड सी, रिफ्रेश करो यहाँ पे, 18 October 9:56 AM, that is current time. So previous time was 1:33 AM, like morning time, and 1:33 AM was the time. So right now it is abhi ka current time. So it has built just now. So now once it is built, I can push it on the cloud. How to push it on cloud? So उसके लिए भी command मैंने यहाँ पे लिख के रखा है आपके लिए. So once it is built, I can run if I wanted to test, but I already tested, so I don't need to run. Package is built, so I just before actually doing these things, make sure that you're having your app running, created a web app in cloud. So if it is created, good. If not, you can do the step 1 first and step 2 later. Either of them will work. This time we did step 3 first, and then we did the step 2 second. Change the configuration pom.xml we did already. Deploy the app on Azure using this particular command, Azure web app deploy. Khatam. Only single command will help us to deploy the application. Here I go. Code में क्या लिखा है, I'm not gonna show you right now because due to time limit, and not everybody is from the Java background, so they will not understand. So what I'm basically trying to demonstrate, like if you have a Java jar, I can deploy it easily with the help of this configuration in POM, number one. So for deploying, we need to have a plugin of Microsoft Azure, then only this can happen. And see, it has started pushing my data on cloud. So देखो क्या क्या करेगा अभी ये. So I'm quickly showing you over here. So it will first try to check my RG resource group. कि whether it is available, whether it is authenticated user. देखो यहाँ पे it is trying to connect to my Azure cloud. तो अगर कनेक्शन एस्टेब्लिश हुआ, नहीं तो ये पूछेगा यार नो ऑथेंटिकेटेड यूजर. नाउ माय कमांड प्रॉम्प्ट इज हैविंग Azure का CLI का ऑथेंटिकेशन with Azure account. So it will basically going to deploy my app on cloud basically. So that single command is going to help me to push. देखो it is trying to reach out to the username. देखो अक्षय शिंदे वाला सब्सक्रिप्शन उसको मिल गया फ्री टीयर, ठीक है, फ्री ट्रायल बेसिकली. Then it will find acquired new token. It has got the new token, new access token basically. Otherwise it will not be able to deploy on cloud. Updating target web app. देखो web app जो है learning Azure 1 उसको it is trying to update. Let's see what it does next. देखो सक्सेसफुली अपडेटेड वेब ऐप ट्राइंग टू डिप्लॉय एक्सटर्नल रिसोर्स. जो भी रिसोर्स एक्सटर्नल आ रहा है अभी, दिस ट्राइंग टू डिप्लॉय, ट्राइंग टू डिप्लॉय आर्टिफैक्ट लर्निंग जो डिप्लॉइंग. ओके, इन प्रोसेस. कौन सा क्या डिप्लॉय कर रहा है? देखो करंट POC 1.14 इट इज ट्राइंग टू कॉपी इन माय Azure वाला ऐप सर्विस. लेट्स सी व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इट डज. सक्सेसफुली डिप्लॉयड हो गया, डिप्लॉयड, बिल्ड सक्सेस, खत्म. नाउ इट इज शोइंग यू आफ्टर सक्सेसफुली डिप्लॉयड, इट इज शोइंग यू लाइक https learnazure.web. इधर जाके आप देखो, आपको मिलेगा, ठीक है. So we are done actually. So I'm going on my Azure वाला लिंक. किधर है वो? किधर था शायद, नहीं इधर. किधर है Azure वाला लिंक? Here भी नहीं. हाँ, here. Sorry. So here is a link, Azure learning Azure 1 Azure website.net. So I'm refreshing it. So previously it was showing me my default page, but now since when I refresh, it is showing me white label error. Because in my Spring web app I created everything with the /API. जनरली मैं करता हूँ. अभी /store क्या है web app के लिए. So if I do /store, then it will show you hello from Akshay, right? So previously this was a default app it was showing. Currently it is showing me with my use case. Now if I do students, it is going to show me कि कोई भी स्टूडेंट नहीं. अभी देखो इसी URL पे I'm gonna push some data from my postman. तो अभी देखो add student का path है यहाँ पे मुझे मेरे पास. So instead of this I'm gonna take my new URL and I'm gonna push some data. Student में post API में मैं data send करना चाहता हूँ. I'll take the name of Sonali this time. So number 1 student Sonali, right? I'm posting. So this is REST API. Sorry, the get, post, put. You in my app you can perform all the operations basically. Here I'm trying to post, like adding the data on my cloud or the list I have created over there. I'm sending the data. This particular application is storing the data in a array list basically. I have not connected to the database as of now. Database वाला example database सीखने के बाद करेंगे. See, I pushed one object which is called as Sonali on my learning Azure वाला website and I'm going in my Chrome. देखो यहाँ पे ये learning Azure 1 के जो हमने बनाया together, this showing empty. I'm refreshing, so it is showing me one entry. ठीक है. So anybody else we have in my training program? Let me just quickly see जिसका नाम अपन डाल सकते हैं. Yeah, we have Shubham as well, right? So let me just push student number 2, any random name which from the link Shubham, right? So if I refresh right now, there is only one entry of a student. This is JSON object it is showing. So if I go and send the second student, that is Shubham, it will show me that data is transferred successfully to this. And if I go and refresh my web app, it is going to show me two things. Now this is only backend, this is only REST API. If I could have built it with Angular front end, and then it would have shown me a really nice view. But abhi ke liye theek hai. So this is for understanding how we can deploy REST APIs. We have deployed Java based REST APIs into this particular demonstration that we have today. So of course the way I can create, the way I can get the data, so the same API could work over here. So let me just quickly copy the URL because ये पुराना वाला URL है वहाँ पे. हाँ, students, getting students from Postman as well. The same thing is gonna come over here. Now Postman is showing the JSON in a very clean manner, pretty way. But here in the Chrome, basically it shows you in this particular format only. ठीक है. I can quickly check and inspect, do the inspect element as well. नेटवर्क में जाके मैं देख सकता हूँ कि आई एम हिटिंग ओके गेट स्टूडेंट का कॉल नहीं आएगा, पोस्ट में वगैरह वो आ जाएगा. ठीक है. करंटली इट इज नॉट शोइंग मी रेस्ट कॉल बट इट शुड हैव शोन मी एक्चुअली. ठीक है. व्हेन वी बिल्ड यूआई देन दैट टाइम इट विल शो मी द रेस्ट एपीआई वाला कॉल. ठीक है. एक्सेस आ रही था. ठीक है. सो दिस इज वन. सो लास्ट थिंग आई एम इनटू दिस इज लाइक आई कैन डिलीट द स्टूडेंट एज वेल. दैट इज व्हाट द फंक्शनलिटी आई हैव प्रोवाइडेड इट टू डू. ठीक है. हाउ आई कैन डिलीट? सो डिलीट का यूआरएल में कॉपी कर रहा हूँ यहाँ से. तो सॉरी, ये लेके नहीं चलेगा. So the method will be delete. I'm going to give it a name. नहीं दे सकते, ठीक है. Learning Azure dot name student slash, I'm supposed to pass the ID. Whatever ID I'll pass, that student will get deleted from the system. I do not need to pass anything in body or nothing. So student 2 I'm supposed to delete. वही है क्या देखने के लिए मैं ये ओपन किया था, एक्चुअली वही है. ठीक है, student 2 I'm trying to delete. ठीक है. So this is what it is. I'm just renaming it. I'm trying to saving it so that I'll have it with me. Delete student. ठीक है, Azure ऐप एपीआई में डालना है मेरे को उसको. ठीक है. So this delete student is my API postman का method, and then I'm trying to delete the student number 2. I'm going in my Chrome. I'm showcasing there are 2 students. ऐसे कुछ नहीं, कोई भी डिलीट कर सकते. I delete student number 1, so that student number 1 will be deleted. I'm sending the request to my API. Student deleted successfully. I'm going to Chrome again, checking how many students are there. Refreshing, I can see only student with ID number 2 is present. ID with number 1 is deleted successfully. Even I can go and update the CRUD operation, basically that is what I named it. So create, read, update and delete, all the operation can be performed with this. That is what the code I have written in my Java application. Similarly, you can build anything and you can deploy anything over here on Azure. So I have quickly notes in my notes, I have shared the details, so you can kindly go and refer to. If you face any challenges while deploying, you can put the screenshot in the group. I'll or put if you're watching the recordings, you can put your doubts in the comment box, and I'll be happy to answer your questions or solve your doubts, basically. Yes, I hope it's clear. I hope you must have understood a few more important things. So this is how you deploy, and then you refer to the link. It will take time to understand the links, but I would recommend if you watch the video again, you will easily able to deploy the things along with me. Okay. All right, this is it for today, guys. See you tomorrow at the same time, and we'll continue learning the next survey. So app service we have covered quickly. So tomorrow, I hope we should be able to see more things into this particular arena. I'll show you how to deploy it along with databases. But before that, I need to teach you what exactly is a database or how to create a database, basically. Okay. For that, we need to have certain separate settings, which will take time, of course, and then we'll implement it together. All right. If we are done for the day, if you have any doubts, any issues, you can ask. And if not, I would recommend you to go and practice. Only understanding is not enough. Go ahead and implement. That is how you learn the most. All right. Thank you so much, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.